paid for customers. The incident was said to have happened around 8:45 p.m. on Tuesday. Members of the general public have been warned to be mindful of people of questionable character. Assistant Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Hamad Gandhi, made the call while parading suspected criminals at the headquarters of the Kogi Command of the NSCDC in Lokoja on Wednesday. ACJ Gandhi said the three suspects were arrested for criminal conspiracy and misappropriation from their various hideouts. The Nigerian Air Force has announced the postponement of the zonal aptitude test for trades and non-trades men and women, which was initially scheduled for January 6, 2024. The new date for the crucial examination is now set for January 13, 2024. Edward Kabwat, the Air Force Marshal and Director of Public Relations and Information for the Nigerian Air Force, released a statement expressing regret for any inconveniences caused by this sudden rescheduling. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji have neutralized 10 terrorists and rescued 9 kidnapped victims between Zamfara and Katsina State. They also recover arms and ammunition, including operational motorcycles and communication gadgets. The Controller General, Nigerian Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, on Thursday, said figures so far compiled by the Nigerian Customs Service showed that the organization generated a little above 3 trillion naira in 2023. He also stated that the agency's revenue projection for 2024 was 5.1 trillion naira, stressing that the customs will strive to deliver on this mandate as its officers had been put on alert as regards the targets. The Nigerian Army has denied media reports that families of soldiers at the headquarters 14th Brigade were unable to cook on New Year's Day over the scarcity of water in the barrack. Lieutenant Omale Innocent Prince, Acting Assistant Director, Army Public Relations, in a statement said the issue of water reticulation in the said barracks has been challenging as several efforts have been made in the past to alleviate the situation. Oyo State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has said that it has planned strategies to prevent crime, safeguard lives, and foster a peaceful environment for all the state residents in the new year. The State Commandant, Dr. Michael Akintayo Adaralewa, made this known in a New Year message to the state residents. In a statement by the Public Relations Officer, DSC Sam Okpebi. And that ends our security news beat. We're going to a short break and we'll return in a moment. You're welcome back. The police high command had consistently charged all commands and formations to arrest and prosecute anyone illegally selling police uniforms. The statement added that the move will help curb proliferation of police kits, uniforms, and eventually reduce police impostors-induced crimes in the society. However, the seeming rising cases of criminals adorning police uniform to perpetrate crimes called for concerted effort on the part of the police high command, not only to intensify effort to arrest the perpetrators of these illegal acts, but to also subject them to prosecution with a view to reducing crime in Nigeria. This morning, we shall be examining and profiling solutions on how best to curb the use of illegal police uniform. Once again, let me remind our listeners that we have in the house Chief Kazim Omomia, our security enthusiast, and he will be, having a chat with us on how best to get to address the issue of illegal sales of police uniform. Let me quickly remind our listeners again that they can also be part of our conversation by calling us on these mobile phone numbers 081 82 22 22 and 05. The other number is 081 82 22 22 06. Again, the numbers are 081 82 22 2205. And the other number is 081 82 22 2206. Chief Omomia, you are warmly welcome to People's Security Monitor this morning.
It's my great pleasure to be here.
Yeah, the issue at stake is the proliferation and illegal sales of police uniform, which is being randomly done. In spite of the intensified efforts of the police, it appears to be, persistent. What's your thought on this?
Yeah, well, I'll start by saying every society gets the kind of police it wants, and it's vice versa, the other way. If you look, closely or have a critical look of what has transpired in the past, you discover that it's not only the police, that its apparels are being illegally, sold. We've had cases where, you see men, women in military attires and also police being paraded, as impostors and as fake, policemen. There was this case of a woman major, who was also paraded some couple of years back, having faked, herself to be an army major, whereas she has never gone near the four walls of a military training. Yes, we may decide to single out the police because the police is everywhere. They are our friends. They are the first, paramilitary or force that is very near, the people. And if you look at their statute, roles has been enshrined in the police books and the constitution, you'll discover that, because of their nearness to the people and the role they play, to bring peace and order, in the community, in the social community. There are these tendencies that things around the police can easily have the reach of, the public, to the extent that people want to illegally, adorn, acquire the apparel and uniforms of, the police. It's not limited to the police, alone. We've had cases where people were paraded to have had to adorn the army, the navy, and of course, the Air Force uniforms. It has to do with our mindset. Are we criminally, minded? What are the intentions for one to begin to go to the shops of all the textile and colors you can find? It is that of the police. If you don't have any untoward, motive, to quickly, adorn in the police apparel and accoutrement and begin to, probably commit crime, or you want to confer yourself, what you don't, desire. as to one who has gone to the police college or attained any, regimental, training to begin to identify yourself as someone who must have done either the police uniform, that of the army, the navy, or whatever, even the customs and the immigration. So it's not limited to the police, but it's also the general duty of the police, as one who should be everywhere 24 hours. Nigerians with their evil minds, those who have those, very untoward intentions, can go to whatever, amass or acquire the police, textiles and begin to make designs and make them look as if, they are police personnel for whatever reasons, an intent, purpose they may want to, use that, for at that, particular time. So it's not limited to the police, but because of the police, the nature of the police, I think they are an easy right that people can easily, maybe acquire, whatever, it is.
Okay, before we move to the next question, let me quickly remind our listeners again that they can be part of this conversation by getting across to us on phone with 081 82 22 2205. The other number is 081 82 22 2206. Again, the numbers are 081 82 22 2205 and 081 82 22 2206. Chief Kazim, because of the peculiarity of the police and because of his nearness to the people, suspected criminals tend to harp on the usage of their uniform. Mostly, you get to see more policemen and women on the road, either at checkpoints or doing some other security, check. So it's more weighty on the side of the police having their uniform being used by suspected criminal. What factors would you say, is responsible for this and is ongoing with impunity? And most times we get to hear the news of people being robbed in police uniform, maybe again in other military personnel uniform. What could have triggered this, and it seems not unabated?
So like I said, is the mind and intent of those who want to carry out criminal activities, and what method do they want to adopt? Is it by adoring police apparels? Is it by wearing police uniforms? Mind you, the uniforms are also so strategic and symbolic. Any uniform you see of the police, if it's the black and black, which is the recent and very latest. I remember those days of Chris Olakwe and AIG of blessed memory when he was the first PRO. I remember we were also there at the first headquarters where the black, and I tagged it black is beautiful. And I did remember I and Chris Olakwe of blessed memory and AIG laughed over it. You see, there are reasons for every color, every texture of any official uniform, essentially that of the police. You see, there are so many colors around in the world, and so many colors. And before the police will begin to zero on some particular colors, it means it adapts to the wider condition of the personnel who are going to adorn it, and it also gives them some sort of symbolism and uniqueness. Because with a black and a well kitted and knitted policeman, you can easily identify him from the lots of those who are probably in any public place and everything. So for every uniform that is approved as being an official uniform, there are reasons, very fundamental reasons, for that. And like I always said, because of the criminal intent of Nigerians who are now abusing the police uniform, from probably whatever source, they got it. Even if you were to go to the market and you are opportune to get a black attire or something that looks like that, something a near, semblance of a police uniform, must you design and redesign it as if it's the official, apparel of the police? Except, there are some untoward and very, evil intentions for which you are going to acquire, those textiles. If not, why will you go, get the police uniform either legally, then you design it as if it's a police uniform to make you look like a policeman and go carry out whatever the activity you want to. So it depends on those who are using it for what purposes, and from what source are they getting those materials.
Yeah. Before we go into the issue of sources now, what role do you think intelligence should be playing in this regard, as it appears to be impossible to really fish out the perpetrators of this? Intelligence must be playing a role, because again, police uniform is not meant to be adorned by all Nigerians and all criminals. There should be an element of serious intelligence to be able to fish out those that are not genuine police personnel, and at the same time they find themselves wearing the official uniform. Intelligence should play a role.
Yeah, but you have a point there. There's no point, and there's no where intelligence is not part of these things. I had wanted us to wait, probably when we are doing our recommendations on how the police can nip this in the bud, curtail it, then we'll bring in, intelligence into it. First and foremost, what are the control measures? How do you regulate, the uniform? Who buys the uniform? Who buys the textile that you now design, for whatever, fitting styles you want, to make it a police official, uniform? It is the source of the materials first. How does the police acquire the material? How can a personnel, be provided, such, we have, police stores. We have the quartermaster generals, probably, offices and shops. Even in the states, command, where you can easily go. And I also remember when the police are doing their recruitment, they also recruit artisans, tailors, who probably should work in the police, tailoring
unit,
factories or wherever, where these materials can be produced. And there are also official police tailors. Probably when you get the material from the quartermaster general, you can take it to the police tailor so that they can fit you properly according to the style and what pattern of the uniform you want. Because for every uniform has its own reason and significance. There are the ones that you can put on from Monday to Friday, and the ones you can use for fatigue and other. You can see the mobile policemen, for instance. They have a unique, attire which they also adorn as their official, apparel or uniform. So,
Chief Kazim, one other thing. Sorry if I may just cut you a bit there. One other, disturbing thing is that you get to see most of these vendors of police uniforms close to police formations. For instance, I do know that at a point there was this van close to the FCT police command parked outside there, but I wouldn't know if perhaps the guy is doing his business with the full knowledge and consent of the state police command. But all I know is that you can go there without any form of identification and pick whatever kit you want without going through any, venting or cross-checking your records or your identity card and whatever. It's just within the vicinity of the police command there. And one wonders, why should this be on?
That is a lack of, control and regulation we are talking about. You cannot just get a van as if you are selling jeans, trousers.
Exactly.
to members of the public, and you are bringing out as critical and as...
The man even says ranks there. You get to see the commissioner of police rank, you get to see deputy commissioner of... It's like when you get there, you can easily allocate to yourself whatever rank you want in the police, and these guys.
Yeah, which means no proper, coordination, no proper regulation. Anybody could walk in there and buy, whatever he or she wishes for whatever, purposes, especially where they say, those who even come are not roundly identified as police personnel or, whatever. It's not only in the FCT, not even in police college in Kenya once upon a time, some couple of years back. Within the college, there's a factory where these things were being manufactured and, sold to every manner of members of the public who come to the shops to acquire. So those who have criminal intentions also can also, cap in, buy whatever they want to buy, from, police boots up to caps, epaulets, badges and everything. That was under, there was an open market until it was investigated and that syndicate, was busted. So it brings us back to the issue of intelligence. From what point are these materials sourced? Who sources them? Do you take them to the quartermaster general? Do you, have the police tailors which you recruit every now and then to begin to produce, these materials? These are the regulations and control that the police should begin to put in place if they had, ammunition lost it. Because I remember growing up those days, these things were well regulated. The regimentation of the police and the military were well coordinated to the extent that you can hardly, there are times policemen may also want to have altercation with members of the public. The fear of adorning that uniform, whatever
it's a symbol of authority.
Yes, authority.
Yeah.
So that authority must not be put in the open market for every Tom, Dick and Harry, to purchase and begin to. From there you can begin to control. The man who gets those equipment, uniforms and everything at the FCT police station, who is he, for Christ's sake? Does he have the orders of the quartermaster general? And if not, must police uniforms be sold at the open marketplace? No. They should be restricted, because these are official uniforms that carry the symbol of authority, one, of the nation they serve, and two, with their symbols and insignia, for which the police is known. It's worldwide. It's not limited and restricted to the Nigerian police. You have the metropolitan police in the UK and others. These things are well restricted and respected. Because we have always looked and seen the police as a very noble profession. Every young man does this, wanted to be a cop, until probably the issues like this illegal uniform, people are abusing, the police uniform, abusing, and essentially, they are inside, conspirators who also do this.
Chief Kazim, let us look at, obviously, we are facing security challenges, if truth must be told. And we need to look into the issue of indiscriminate availability of police uniform to all manner of characters. If this has been occurring, then it should be one weighty reasons why insecurity persists or why it is easily executed by criminals. What are the security implications of having police uniform or any other security personnel all over the place and getting people to wear it, randomly without dictating them out?
You see, part of the problems are even inherent, to the extent that you find a state governor, probably when elections are drawing nearer, he begins to establish his own security outfit. And because he's over there as the chief security officer of the state, he can begin to adopt them any apparel. And because they have the authority of the governor, who probably may be using them against perceived, political enemies, they can go out, even with connivance of the state, commands. That is why you see during elections, the IG, in his good wisdom, redeploys, policemen who are usually at the states, at that level, bring in neutral persons, to probably, superintend over those, elections. Those are the reasons. Most states have their own, private security outfits. Some couple of, years back, I was a senior special assistant to the governor of Edo State on security, and I found myself, working with the state coordinator of the state, security network, who also happened to be a brother, Colonel Omomia. And I remember when we're trying to get, a parliamentary act, for the outfit. We're also, looking at how, they can be done. We brought very many samples of, uniforms, because already they were wearing the black and black. So to differentiate, your emblem must also change. So you can say they wear their black and black, but with a red emblem, an insignia indicating that this is the State Security Vigilante Network. And when they were going to have the full official uniform, we had a brown stripe, at least to differentiate them from the average and the normal, police uniform. That is where you begin to have, a difference. Not when you go, you still see some of them, they want to look like the police, they are not. And that is why, in the state command, that once the vigilante arrests anybody, immediately you transfer.
We do say there is enough public enlightenment, program on this, because if you have a multitude of security uniforms in a particular state, the people should be enlightened, should be educated enough to know the differences among all these uniforms before things really get confused. In a state, like you rightly said, we have up to 9 set of security operatives, operating agencies rather operating in that state, and you usually get confused because again, in a particular security agency, they could have 3 different types of uniform. One fatigue, one the normal, one they give it all sort of names. So when you see them in multitude, you easily get confused. How do I differentiate, a soldier from a state arm of security? What again should be their functions, their responsibilities, and the rest? Because most times again, you find that their duties are duplicated, and that brings the issue of disharmony among security agencies.
You see, my advice there is first and foremost. You see, don't go near the police uniform. We all know what the police are done as their official uniform. They have the black and black. If the police has the black and black, there's no state, network, no matter where you are, that should go near that color black and black. Run away, from it.
Same thing goes for the army too.
If you have a security outfit, don't use the bush green, which is the army gopher uniform. There are other colors. Look at the Amotekun. Look at
the civil defense.
Look at the civil defense and look at the traffic agency in Lagos. Beautiful uniform. And yet they are deciding their own, mandate as prescribed by the laws, establishing them. So you see, this multifarious uniforms, and it was also when I was in Benin, I discovered that there are vests, all manner of this thing. That the only difference is only that emblem. Some still have the yellow, green, and blue, colors of the police. But if you even look at the police belt, it's yellow, blue, and green. They want to have that close imitation so that they can be looked at as police person. Those are impersonations.
Chief Kasim, let's come to the issue of. I've met with quite a number of policemen who actually confided in me that they do procure their uniform, from their resources. They go out there to kit themselves up, buying it from wherever, God knows where. And this brings to the fore the issue of the department charged with that responsibility in the Nigerian police force. One other question is, do they really have sufficient budget to cater to kit the Nigerian police personnel? This is one question we should also ask ourselves too. And if they do, is the budget being fairly used, being objectively used to achieve its aim?
Too many questions, mostly too many questions, and you also get the answers. If you are looking at budgetary allocation, the police can also always go to the National Assembly and ask for more, to get uniforms for the people. Do you know how much we spend on security in this country right from the time we started having challenges of insecurity? Do you know how many times the IGP, the security chiefs, have been summoned to the National Assembly if there's one issue of killings in any part of the country? And most of the assurances they have always got from Parliament is that if it is budgetary allocation, if it's where the National Assembly can come in and increase your budget, provided killings are stopped, we'll do it, and they've done it reasonably to the extent. I remember one of the budget that the security agencies were almost getting up to $1 trillion in this country. So how are they, disbursing, those funds? And I also remember one IG, when one of the uniforms were introduced, he gave it free to the other ranks and subsidized for those who are, officers. Some, heads of police, they have done it once upon a time. Probably if you are somebody who is also very rough, maybe you are allocated one pair of each and everything, and maybe you want to have more, or you misused what you were given, and your outlook is becoming very unpleasant, and you want to have one or more. Then you can begin to use your fund, to buy. There's nothing against you, buying. But what we are talking about is that, buying and probably selling out to somebody.
Unknown characters.
To go and use to impersonate and do havoc, to members of the public. Those are the areas our worries are. If it is budgetary allocation, they have always come to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly, I can beat my chest, have always assisted, have always supported, so that we can put an end to killing and whatever insecurity that can come, whether from the police end, the army end, the navy end, and what have you. I can jump up.
Yeah, Chief Kazim, our time is fast spent. But before we let you go, can you quickly, just within 10 seconds, provide solutions to this issue of indiscriminate?
The customs should help. Look at what textiles that are coming in. Probably if they are legitimate, those who are buying, what are they using it for? And the police should step up intelligence. The security operatives should also help the police and step up intelligence. Most areas where these things are sold illegally, they are not from the Master General. And look at those who are producing them.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chief Kazim, for your time. We do appreciate your contributions.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we shall be wrapping it up for today. But before we go, remember, security is our collective responsibility. Quickly report any suspected strange movements and activities around you to security agencies within your closest reach. My name is Isiaka Mustapha, the People's Security Monitor. Is